So anyways, I figured something out today, and I was on my run or whatever, and I saw a dead worm on the sidewalk, and there was all these flies on it, and I was like, how does the frickin' fly know that the worm is there? And then I was like, every time, I don't know, it just led me on this rampant thought process or whatever, this thought train. And I was like, yeah, because whenever I put out bird seed, all the birds can find it. Like, they all of a sudden know to come to my house. Like, it's just weird. And then Spirit was saying that it is like magnetics, like, it is a frequency, it is a vibration where they do just know, like, they're one side of the charge, and then the food or the worm or whatever is the other side of the charge, and they have a need, like the fly has a need or the birds have a need, and they know right where to go get that need met.
Which is an important part about abundance. You have to have a need. You have to recognize that you need
the want or the desire.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you need something. You want a new car. You
right.
need it.
Right.
Not for no reason. You don't have. It's not. Your reason doesn't have to be good, because I feel like people get stuck in that space, right? Like, it doesn't matter. You have a need for it because you want it. Okay, good.
Right. The universe is not applying the
for
meaning.
For human beings, probably not good. For a bird or whatever, right?
But it is
an
innate need.
Yeah.
Like an innate need,
Yeah.
And so it is almost like magnets. They were showing me that it was magnets, but everything's actually an electromagnetic charge.
Right. True.
And so then they were showing me that.
So like quantum.
Yeah, they were showing me that the difference is the electricity aspect of the magnetism. And they were showing me how the magnetism is like the flower of life, which is that breath that Joe Dispenza is kind of talking to me about. So when you do master your body, you create a whole flower of life system within your energy system, and then you open to other higher realms, which I think is the fifth dimensional expansion we're talking about.
Yeah.
But anyways, my question was, because I've been working with lack so much, it's like I'm sitting in, let's say, the negative magnetic charge of lack. And I do oscillate with awareness into abundance. Like, I am aware of abundance. I'm aware of that positive charge. And sometimes I'm even in that positive charge. But it's like...
Yeah, I love this, because it's really, if you can allow yourself to just look at it as the bird or the food, neither is good nor bad. They're both a component of that experience of the magnetics working or functioning in this experience. Right? Your lack or abundance is an element of it, and so you can be in one or the, right? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, without a thing, but
right.
But they were showing me, because of our consciousness, it's a little bit different, meaning they have this innate programming, and we do too, right? I mean, there's lots of birds or flies and stuff that don't make it to the food and they die.
Sure.
And, whatever, I thought of that, but, or they showed me that, but, because I was like, how do we get that negative space to link into that abundance?
Yeah, but based on what you're saying, they're all already naturally happening together. But how does the human being understand it, right? Like, how do you move into the other when you're experiencing the other side of it, right? Because what you're naming is that the magnetic field is always in balance. The electromagnetic field is always in balance, no matter what. It doesn't matter.
Right, but because we're conscious beings, we get in our own way. I mean,
yeah, right.
I mean, and that's what I was feeling, was like, when I'm in that feeling of lack, or in that, I don't know if it would be negative or positive charge. I have no idea, because ions work oppositely. But
okay.
Let's just say we'll say that it's a negative magnetic charge is the lack.
I mean,
how
honestly,
do we move?
I bet it's positive. Truly, like, just.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway.
Which is external.
Because negative,
and then is
think
pulling.
about it. Negative is no thing, and that's the space of you create all things.
Yeah, but you're also pulling things towards you, and the shit is pulling things to you.
Yeah, true. But wouldn't that be your pulling? I don't know. It's a great
or
conversation.
Maybe it's
we need a
both.
scientist. We need a physicist.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, so yeah.
But I saw they were showing me, so no, when you're in lack or whatever, you're on one side of the thing.
Of the coin or
whatever. Yeah.
Or the magnetic field.
Or
right?
the magnetic field,
yeah.
if you're on one side, and experiencing the one side.
Right.
And not experiencing in the other. How do you move to the other side? Right? You need an external force, and you would need an external force. In this case, when you would take two magnets, you put the side to the side. So how do you mentally or metaphorically get the negative towards the positive when it's programming doesn't necessarily allow for it. Anyways, I felt like how it came to me anyways was like you needed to be open to the idea. I felt like that was like the first step for the negative.
Which is
like you
something
had to be
we've gotten
open to the
often.
possibility.
Yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit, is that can be a limit. Like being open to it being a thing, to it being a possibility.
Just to be a possibility.
Because
that would
intention
be
is
the
everything.
first thing.
That choice of like, right, you're allowed, you have permission to move into this other experience. You don't...
Or it's even possible. Like you had to be... Yeah, because a lot of people I know, they never move out of like poverty thinking or poverty or what... And then it could be a metaphor for
hierarchical
or that system or these limited kinds of systems. And so it's like from a human perspective, how do you shift from being one way, which would be one side of the electromagnetic field, to the other, to where at least you're whole? Because when you know you're both...
Yeah, because intuitively I have always felt like to have abundance is to have lack. You're holding both at the same time. Like that's the center of the pyramid, or that's like the center knowing of the activation of that awakening within of all things. You have a knowing of we are all things. We're in the oneness.
Right.
Which is both, right? So something about the magnetic field, and maybe I'm not right, I don't know. In my sense of self, I feel like we hold both at the same time. It's love and fear. It's love and it's light and dark, right?
Yeah.
I think that would say it best. No?
No, I definitely agree with you. I was just trying to like understand, because one, human beings are a lot more complex, and it's just like, it should be, you're hungry, you get fed, just like a fly to whatever, you're fine, the law of attraction, you're attracting it, right? You're attracting, flies are attracting shit, birds are attracting, or the seed maybe is even attracting the birds, because part of the seed's function is to be eaten.
Right.
And so in that, the seed's function is to be eaten, there's a program, there's some kind of divine program there, food is meant to be eaten, so we have a tendency to find it, because then we're looking for it, and then in the nomadic days we found the food, like...
And possibly it's the programming that like we're not allowed because we've experienced so much lack, so then we just keep having these flashbacks of lack, and so then we just create it, which is then the internal work. This conversation reminds me of something. I remember when Lee Carroll was channeling Cryon, and Cryon talked about the consistency of animals. And it's always haunted me because I feel like it's a really important message, or maybe gift, of like, if you're consistent, like something about the magic of that, or like, just, I don't know, like something about we can choose so many different things as a human being. And like, what are you choosing every moment of every day? Like, I don't know, it just reminds me of that.
Well, it reminds me of what I just heard like Joe Dispenza say, which is basically your body is the culmination of all of those beliefs and actions. So it's like the last part of your being to catch up.
Yeah.
So it's going to be those innate animalistic kind of things, like the things that you're doing consistently over and over and over and over again. Meaning, if you're constantly thinking in a traumatic lack way, your body's going to think that it is living in lack.
Right.
Because it's it's like the slowest thing to form, and then it's the slowest thing to shift out of it.
To heal or reconcile, or to expand maybe into the limitlessness.
Into a different experience.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why is it so different for a human being? Like, why am I experiencing lack? And it was because I had a belief system within me that was like, no, it just knows lack. Well, then how do I get my part of my being to not know lack anymore, to choose something differently?
Yeah.
And they were showing me was that electromagnetic shift. It was almost like a bracket, or like, maybe it's a metaphoric bracket or something to link the two. And you would think in magnets, it would be the electricity. The electricity would then,
like the spark or the
spark
shifting,
or whatever would be the one thing, which to me would be light and consciousness of just slowly telling that negative that it was even possible there's even another side.
But you've spent months and years now, like let's say, being in this frequency of knowing oneness, abundance, right? Like you've put in all this efforting for feeling at peace and feeling balanced, right? Like, so in that way, you're healing, you're solving it, really, right?
Right.
Which I feel like is a part of this.
Yeah, but what I
this
saw
experience.
in that, I mean, that's why you wanted to have this conversation. Sorry. Do you
No,
want to
go. No.
Just why I wanted to have this conversation, because I saw in the moment that there was something needed. There was a piece, and it was almost like we could quantumly shift it quickly. There was a piece in it.
You could see that.
I could see it.
Okay.
Where you could, because it's just magnetics. And if you could get the magnetics, because it's part of a whole. So in some ways, it's always wanting its other half. I mean, the magnets
Right, because
itself
it wants to be in balance. Well, and here's the thing. It would have to be in balance. It would always have to be in balance. Somehow, somewhere.
Somewhere
really.
in some other alternate reality
exactly.
or something.
Exactly. So then how do we bring that?
But I saw like we could figure that out, like energetically. Like,
and it's so funny because of what we've been talking about with demanding. Because I just heard or felt like, no, choose it. But you can't just choose it with your thinking self, because that's not enough. You need to choose it with your whole being.
Body.
Your whole, like every cell of your body, every part of your soul, your heart.
Do you like scoop up your energy inside and demand it? Like,
no,
where do you feel it in your body?
I don't feel that way. I feel like it comes from up above from the crown down in, and then below from my feet, like up, and then it's just like this atomic bomb, and I literally feel it. Like it's just like boom.
But you're calling on the earth too.
Of course you have to, because the earth is an element of this experience.
What's that hole in your hand?
It's not a hole. What do you mean?
What is that?
I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, no, it's the which to me, that's so true, because we have the power of the atomic bomb within our beings. Like, we know this. That is how powerful we really are. So you choose an alignment, but the thing is, you can't fake it, which I know we talk about all the time, but you cannot fake this. So if your body is saying no, then you're going to have to own that, and you're going to have to show up again and be consistent. Oh, that's so cool, though, because I can feel it. I can see it. It's like, no, it's done. You're done.
Yeah.
Oh, that feels so good.
Yeah.
I'm getting huge chills.
But I was thinking, I saw how we could help people with that.
Yeah,
I saw how
that's
we
cool.
could actually teach people how to do that.
Well, of course, because it's already within them. Every one of us.
Yeah. So maybe we should like incorporate that in our next retreat or something,
Well, I feel like we always do.
But not in that way.
Right, we could do it in a formal way, yeah, for sure. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Let's go.